afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is I, Jeremy Pierce. It is Saturday, May 14th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your undisputed champion, and we are here with another episode. As always, you can check me out on the social Charismatic Creatures on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic Cards on YouTube, and the 215 spelled out on Twitter, and also Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram. And we've got a nice little show for you today. I won't be before you very long. Last week's show, we looked at that Master of Disguises, starting our new series of repackages for wrestlers. Ones that worked, ones that didn't work, and it'll all we're gonna keep continuing with that joint. But this week, finishing up Primed and Ready, 2 more episodes left. We've got the WWE Championship. Those special folks who think it's time for them to win the World Championship. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. Backlash, kayfabe, Charlotte is hurt. She lost the match. She'll be taking time off. She's quote unquote injured with like a torn radius or something of the other. In reality, she's actually just getting married. Her and Andrade. So she'll be gone for a couple of months. I am genuinely happy about this. I don't want Charlotte on my screen. If Charlotte doesn't come back for the rest of the year, I'll be completely happy. But the worst part is knowing that when she does come back, she'll immediately get a title shot, because that's the way the cookie crumbles. Mia Yim's Impact contract is shorter than expected. She is on a 6-month deal. Things could always be worked out to extend it, sign a new deal, whatever. But I'm just happy she's back wrestling. I'm a huge Mia Yim fan, and I'm glad she's not going by Jade, even though some of her look is from her previous Jade character. I need Mia Yim, the head baddie in charge. On the Tammy Lynn Sitch front, she has her arraignment date following that DUI manslaughter charge. The state filed paperwork to revoke her bond, and she was sent back to jail because her bond was revoked. She does have 3 previous DUIs, and she was driving without a license and could be a danger to the community. This sucks for Tammy, but she needs to get her shit together, and she could spend up to 30 years behind bars. That's something. If you've been paying attention, the WWE's they've been running this Money in the Bank commercial with Cody, saying that the winner of the match gets to main event WrestleMania. That sounds weird, because that would completely defeat the purpose of the Money in the Bank contract, to be able to challenge the world champion anytime, anywhere, get that match. You need it. You need that wild card to be like, hey, we need to spice things up. Money in the Bank. But now it's like, well, the ending. Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of the Royal Rumble? We need to see what's going on. This would be a horrible idea if they do this. We've got to wait and see. Lacey Evans is now on Raw and a heel. So, that's all of that just to make her a heel. I don't care. I don't. All I know is I need Bayley to come back. I need Aaliyah, Shotzi, and Xia Li to be pushed on SmackDown. Because within like the last month, Raw has gotten Asuka, Lacey, Alexa Bliss, and Sonya Deville. So we need to do something with the SmackDown side. Roman Reigns signed a new deal, and essentially there's been some confusion, but essentially what's going on, he's going to be working less shows, pretty much less house shows. He won't be working smaller house shows, in those off cities. But they got a house show in Philly, house show in New York, Chicago. He's going to be there. Tony Khan has said that Grand Slam will be returning to Arthur Ashe Stadium, and it was the first event was a rousing success, so it makes sense for them to come back, and just them having this as a annual event works. And right now, AEW does special events better than the WWE. We've got Grand Slam, we've got Fight for the Fallen, Fighter Fest, and Winter is Coming, and Battle of the Belts. They just do it better. What the Warner Discovery merger looks like, AEW is safe, and not just safe, but very safe. The AEW has been promoted during NBA and NHL games. I think they're in the middle of the playoffs. But the executive who brought it, AEW, TBS, and TNT has been fired. So let's keep our ear to the ground. But it looks like they may be safe, and I think they'll be safe. Shida was possibly injured at a non-AEW event, so she won't be in the Owen Hart Cup. And it's not just because of the injury, and it's not a major injury. She just couldn't get back to America in time for the Cup. So she does have a replacement, which was announced on Rampage. We'll get to that when we get to Rampage, the Rampage review. So MJF is legit unhappy about his AEW contract situation. Now his contract isn't up until 2024. AEW might be getting a new deal in 2023, and it's him and Toni hash things out. But MJF knows he has the upper hand. He does. He knows he has the upper hand, and he's drawing interest from the WWE's network partners. And here's my thing. MJF is very, very good at what he does. I don't think he will succeed in WWE because of the kind of character that he portrays. That PG shit won't work. It won't. And he could really be one of the pillars. He could be one of the cornerstones for AEW when they get to bigger deals and start running bigger shows and start touring more. He could be there. Dynamite pulled in more viewers this week, but they still were under 850,000. They pulled in 840,000, but again, playoffs are going on right now. NBA and NHL playoffs, they are both on TNT. So I expect once the playoffs are done, they will go back to being over 1 million viewers. And some crazy news. Ibushi may be done with New Japan. He's tweeted out some things that he says he's going to expose, and this is just not great, especially with Forbidden Door coming up. Could he sign with AEW? I mean, him and Kenny Omega are like best friends, so possibly, but it's a weird situation. NXT will resume touring next month, probably just doing a coconut tour, looping around Florida, because they need this. You watch NXT this past week, it's a lot of these people, a lot of the guys and girls on there need that repetition. I mean, just look at the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane defending against Wendy Chu and Roxanne Perez, and it's night and day how much better Wendy Chu and Roxanne Perez are better than JC and Gigi, like head and shoulders above them better. And Roxanne's only 20. She's like 20 or 21. She's better than most of the women getting played in AEW. In NXT right now, not named Io Shirai, Alba Fire, Like, she's that good. So the tour, the repetition is needed. Candice LeRae is a free agent, like we said last week. People in power want her to be signed to AEW. Please, AEW, sign her. They need another veteran. They have Thunder Rosa. They have Serena Deeb. They have Ruby. They need one more veteran. And with Candice in there, she's beloved in the industry, and a phenomenal talent. She's worked with the Young Bucks before, so it will be a great pickup for them if they can sign Candice LeRae. Big E will be facing a much longer recovery time than expected, as he mentioned, his C1 isn't healing properly, and he might have to get fusion neck surgery. If he gets fusion neck surgery, he will essentially be out for 15 months. Prayers up for Big E, my man. Stay positive. Double or Nothing has now become the largest wrestling show outside of the WWE. They had a $1.2 million gate. $1.2 million gate. The card looks great. This is just great news in general. Dakota Kai has filed a trademark for her new ring name. Looks like she's going by King Coda. Another person that AEW needs to sign. Please sign Dakota Kai. And in some not so shocking news, once again, Tessa Blanchard burns another bridge in pro wrestling. This time they're still with WoW. It's come to an end. She burned another bridge. I'm tired of covering this because Tessa's a great talent, and I'm just over it. I'm just over it with Tessa. I wish her the fucking best. So, we had a relatively solid week. Dynamite stood out this week, which is good. They had a few weak shows these last couple of weeks, with the exception of Philly. That was fire, obviously. But on Monday Night Raw, we had Backlash Fallout. I guess we're building towards Hell in a Cell. But Monday Night Raw opens up with RK Bro saying that they want the unification match, and they will be going to SmackDown to get said match. They are interrupted by the Street Profits, who said after Backlash that they wanted the tag team title shot. They got said tag team title match and lost. And at some point, the Profits have to stop losing to RK Bro, right? I'm just saying, this is the 20th time this year that Raw has opened up with a talking segment, but I need more from the Profits. I want more for the Profits. I like the Judgment Day stable. I think we need more stables, factions with both men and women, but their reasoning for joining up is just so blah and blasé. It's just Rhea Ripley defeated Liv Morgan, kind of just dominated her, and then brutalized her after the match. Finn comes out to kind of stop it. He then has a match with Damian Priest. Wins by DQ as Edge spears him. AJ comes out to make the save. Rhea gets in the way. He's not going to hit Rhea. And the Judgment Day take out Finn and AJ. And the world turns. We have the MVP lounge. Cedric is, I don't know, for some reason still trying to get into the good graces of MVP and Omos. Bobby will actually destroy Cedric. And next week, Bobby and Omos will face each other in a steel cage. Sonya Deville is fired from her managerial role, power role, WWE official, whatever. Loses to a returning Alexa Bliss in 1 minute. Alexa is still she's a face, still has the Lily gimmick and everything, but it's just toned down some. Can't lose that. Merchandise money. Everything with Ezekiel and Kevin Owens is great. I have no idea why Kevin Owens is stuck on this. He came out as Kevin's older brother, Ken Owens. He was wearing like a fake beard and a blonde wig. It was great. And Zeke played along, so did the fans. And when Kevin took the wig off, fans were shocked that it was Kevin. It's good. It's good stuff. Kevin and Alpha Academy then beat up Ezekiel. Bear squash. Cody beats Theory by DQ after Seth killed him. This was for the United States Championship. Theory had gave an interview earlier in the show on like one of them stages, raised up. Seth curb stomps Cody on the announce table. Sasha and Naomi defeat Doudrop and Nikki, and I'm fine with this loss because if it leads to Nikki losing the superhero gimmick and going back to Sanity Nikki, I am fine with that. This Doudrop isn't playing any more games with her. Miz was the special guest referee for Ciampa versus Ali, and he effectively screws Ali out of a win. We don't know why Ciampa is so evil at this point when he was like a good guy a couple weeks ago. Bianca and Asuka ended in a no contest as Becky was on commentary and she attacked them both. Looks like we're going to be leading to a triple threat match with Becky, Asuka, and Bianca for the Raw Women's Championship. Raw gets a fist. It was fine. Over on Dynamite, we're on our way to Double or Nothing. This show gets a thumbs up. It was a lot better than last week. So opening match was Adam Cole versus Dax Hardwood in the first round of the Owen Cup, and this was a very good match. Adam Cole won, tapping out Dax Hardwood, and these two really played on the whole Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels bit of it all. This was great. This is what I want out of my professional wrestling. CM Punk beat John Silver. Not only he beat him with a buckshot lariat. But seriously, CM Punk didn't dominate this match. He just didn't. John Silver actually dominated most of the match, and after that it was over. Hangman did approve of this. They had some words. Okay, all right. We're amping this thing up. We're pouring some gas on this. Tony Nese quickly defeated Danhausen. Hook made the save as Nese kept beating up Danhausen after the match, and we'll be getting Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling at Double or Nothing in the buy-in. Mark Sterling does wrestle people, so it's fine. We had the contract signing with MJF and Wardlow, and this kind of plays out just like almost every other MJF feud. Somebody's got to go through some trials or something to get to him. MJF is a hometown hero there because they were in Long Island. Ends with Wardlow signing the contract, beating up everybody. So what essentially is going to happen is he's got to take 10 lashes and he's got to beat Shawn Spears. And if that happens, he will get MJF at Double or Nothing. And if he loses to MJF, he cannot sign with AEW. So they're kind of telegraphing the end of this match, unless he signs with Ring of Honor. Ricky Starks retained the FTW Championship over Jungle Boy after Swerve got in the way. He thought he was helping, trying to cost Ricky the match, but it didn't work. Ricky won, and then Christian and Luchasaurus came out. Christian bumped into Swerve, and Swerve didn't take kindly to that and was going to confront Christian, and Keith Lee came out to help. So it looks like we might be getting a triple threat match at Double or Nothing with Swerve and Keith Lee versus the Jurassic Express versus Team Taz. The Jericho Appreciation Society war with everybody at this point continues. So they're in the ring talking their shit and talking about how they're, sports entertainers. They always win. Moxley comes out. Jericho runs his mouth saying, well, it's still 5-on-1. Then Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, and William Regal come out. Still down to 5-on-4. And then behind the JAS is Eddie with the burns on his face, Santana Ortiz. They all fight, taking out the Jericho Appreciation Society. William Regal lays out Chris Jericho. And if you know wrestling, you know these two got some history. So it looks like we're going to be building towards a blood and guts match with Santana Ortiz and Eddie, Bryan Danielson, and Moxley versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. No Wheeler Yuta, as I think he'll be fighting in the Super Juniors for New Japan. But yeah. Give me some blood and guts. Tony Storm defeated Jamie Hayter in a good 10-minute sprint. I wish this match got like 15 more minutes. Not 15 minutes, but 15 more minutes. Got 5 more minutes to make it a 15-minute match. This was good. They spent weeks building up to this match, and Toni Storm wins, defeating Jamie Hayter to advance in the Owen Cup, and she'll be taking on the winner of Britt Baker and the Joker. And like, I originally thought it was going to be Toni versus Jamie versus Britt in the finals, but now I'm not. It's not, because they're facing each other in the second round. A main event, anything goes, because Darby and Jeff was like, listen, dog, nobody's watching Darby versus Jeff to do wrestling moves. So it was anything goes match. First round of the Owen Cup. Jeff Hardy won, but geez, these two dudes were... Only Darby Allin could out Hardy Jeff Hardy. He started the match with his patented suicide dive. He brought out the big ladder, put it in the ring, set up like a chair table. It was about 8 chairs together. Went for a swanton and almost died. Not to be outdone, Jeff laid Darby on some steps, on the steel steps. He went for a swanton and Darby moved, and Jeff just bounced off the steps. But Jeff won with a wrestling move, with the cradle. Darby hit the coffin drop, and Jeff rolled him up. It's crazy. The Undisputed Elite comes out afterwards, as it looks like, I think it's Jeff versus Adam Cole in the second round. And I still think we're going to get the Hardys versus the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. Over on Impact, the Impact Corner, you know what I mean? Honor No More gets another win. Kenny King defeated Chris Bay. So the war between Honor No More and the Bullet Club is not even close to being finished. The Influence retains their tag team championships over Giselle. They win, and Miss Shaw looks good and continues to impress. Gail Kim announced that there will be a Queen of the Mountain match at Slammiversary for the first time ever, and the participants are Tasha Steelz, Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim, missing one more. Who is the fucking last person? That is completely on me. Deonna Purrazzo. This will be for the Knockouts World Championship. Yeah, I'm ready for this. And Eric Young wins a gauntlet match to become the #1 contender for the World Championship, and he will be facing Josh Alexander at Slammiversary. Over on Smackdown, this is pretty much the RK Bro show. But once again, no Xia Li, which fucking whatever. So they open up the show, RK Bro, 11th time. Opens up the show and said they want the unification match. Sammy the Stooge says it ain't happening. He's kind of working for the Bloodline now. And he loses to Riddle in a good match. And they made it known that Riddle and Sammy are on the same level. Raquel Gonzalez accepted Ronda Rousey's open challenge for the Women's Championship. Ronda wins, but Raquel didn't go out like no punk, so this was good. She kept smiling. I'm tired of this fucking smiling shit. So yeah, Ronda, we'll see, because SmackDown needs more women and Ronda needs more challengers. We might be getting a little mini feud between Aaliyah and Shotzi, as Shotzi locked Aaliyah in the locker room so Shotzi could accept the challenge. And look, as long as I get these two on my screen, I'm great. Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, killed Madcap Moss. Killed him. Fucking killed him. Head in the chair, Andre the Giant trophy, done. Dead. Neck gone. Sasha and Naomi retain over Natalya and Shayna, so we're on to whomever is next for Sasha and Naomi. Butch beat Kofi. The New Day is just kind of treading water at this point. In the main event segment, RK Bro confront the Bloodline, who accept the unification match, because Rome was like, well, we smashed everybody, but my cousins need more belts. And the Riddle just need the shit out of Roman, just surprise them, knee to the jaw. There were some good things on here. There were some not so good things here, but overall, SmackDown was a fine show. Over on Rampage, Death Triangle defeated the Butcher, the Blade, and Mark Quinn just to get them ready for Double or Nothing. I would like for the Butcher and the Blade to be used more. That's just me. Sean Spears won a squash over Bear Boulder as he's got to get ready for his match versus Wardlow. Ruby Soho defeated Sheeta in another first round Owen Cup match to advance. Chris Statlander will be replacing Sheeta in the Owen Cup. She'll be taking on her former friend Red Velvet. And in the main event, Scorpio Sky defeated Frankie Kazarian with some unknown help from Ethan Page, which was a good match, but then he went full heel and still hit Kazarian, so it looks like they had a plan all along. But him going heel doesn't make sense, because aren't they still feuding with Ty and Sammy, who were in the crowd with their AAA Mixed Tag Team Championship. So I'm a little confused why they would go full heel with Scorpio Sky, as I was expecting him to leave American Top Team at some point to feud with Ethan Page. So we'll see. We'll see. Our matches of the week from Backlash: Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Also from Backlash, the I Quit match for the Smackdown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. From Backlash as well, the Bloodline versus RK Bro and Drew McIntyre. I couldn't pick just one match from this card, but the entire Under Siege pay-per-view that Impact had on Saturday. It was just a really good card with a really good show. Shout out to Impact, who continues chugging along, putting on just good quality wrestling. All from Dynamite, all three of the Owen Cup matches: Adam Cole versus Dax Hardwood, Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter, and Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin. And from Rampage, the TNT Championship match, Scorpio Sky versus Frankie Kazarian. I would have put Ruby versus Rio in here, but there was a long commercial break, and even though I know the match was good, that commercial break really hampered it. And our star of the week, this is tough. I'm going to go with RK Bro. These two dudes are just super, super, super over, and you can tell Randy is having a great fucking time right now. Yeah. But that's our weekend review, and we'll be right back. Primed and ready. We are on. We are moving forward. So, y'all know primed and ready, and I wanted to finish with the two world championships, the WWE Championship and the AEW World Championship. So we'll do the WWE Championship now, and I think we'll get the AEW Championship done next month once I figure out June's schedule. But now there are some people on this list that have already been world champions in this company, but I'm going to explain why I believe they should be champion again. Okay, so we're going to go with Raw first, who's currently on the Raw roster, and then SmackDown. So our current world champion is Roman Reigns, who I'm not going to say unified the two world championships, but he's just holding both. He is your undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Champion of the fucking universe. But I digress. So he's been apparent where he, along with the Bloodline and RK Bro, have been appearing on both shows. So we ask ourselves, who on Monday Night Raw should be next in line for some world championship reigns? Well, we're starting off with AJ Styles. And here, you're gonna find a theme with the Raw side. There are using 5 people from Raw. 3 of them have already been world champions. AJ Styles. Here's why Here's why AJ should be champion again. I don't believe he was champion as a face. He has 3 WWE championship reigns. Actually, no, I think the one time he fought Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, he was a face, but he had just got that title back. AJ Styles, it's so crazy. He's only been in the company, 5 years? And he's already been a 3-time WWE champion. He's the kind of guy, he's one of those people that can give you can give anything. He can just roll with it. And AJ should be champion because one, it would do a few things. It would validate the feud with Edge. It would give something and someone for Edge to challenge. Because Edge is not going to go after Roman. Edge already tried going after Roman and lost. But somehow getting the title to AJ would help. It would open up Edge's desire for more. AJ, I don't want to say is floundering because Finn is floundering, but AJ himself in this random feud with Edge, just it started out the blue, and I need the feud to be validated. And it's so crazy. I'm not picking Edge to be champion, even though that would validate him. Sometimes the heel should chase, because I like to see the extents of what the heel would do, of what the bad guy would do, how crazy, how maniacal they can get, and how they can be. And going after someone like AJ, who can defend himself and who's got backup with Balor, I think that would really validate the feud. Next up, it is Bobby Lashley. Now, he's already been a 2-time WWE champion, but I feel like his reigns never really were dominant. So the first time around, he defeated Drew at WrestleMania, and I believe the first 2 months of his reign were in the Thunderdome. He eventually lost the championship to Big E, then got it back earlier this year, but then lost it again to Brock in that fatal 5-way. So his second reign was ceremoniously abrupt, and it just ended, which sucks. And I want more. Like, him feuding with Omos, I mean, it was bound to happen. I, along with a lot of people, know that the Hurt Business should not have been broken up. Which, fuck, man. Why break up the Hurt Business? And even though Bobby's one of the many people, actually there's a lot of people up on those lists that are all up there in age, he's been pushed to be dominant, and he is one of 2 people that I truly believe that if they just went out and defeated Roman for the championship, it wouldn't be a shock, because they've been pushed. Him and the other person have been pushed as dominant, and Bobby can get that W back. He needs that W back. So Bobby is ready for the 3rd reign, the 3rd truly dominant reign. Next up is someone who we truly all believe will probably be the one to defeat Roman Reigns. That'd be Cody Rhodes. Cody, there's only one reason Cody came back. One reason and one reason only. That was to do what his father didn't, and that was to become WWE champion. Now his current feud with Seth, it's setting the right tone. It's showing that Cody is a fighter. Cody can go, and Seth's the perfect opponent for him. But we know why Cody is here. We know why Cody came back. It would be, do I want to say travesty? That is a very strong word. Would it truly be a travesty if Cody doesn't win the championship? If Cody doesn't defeat Roman Reigns? I like, it's set up perfectly for these families, right? Is it destined for Cody to defeat Roman? We know the match will be fire. We know that. We know that without a shadow of a doubt, the match will be fire. But how can they tell the story? I think if they stay out of Cody's way, if they can put Cody and Paul Heyman in charge of this feud, because I think the feud will happen. I think you'll get magic. I think you will get absolute magic. And this is what we're expecting. We're expecting Cody to be champion. It's the only reason he came back. It's the only fucking reason he came back. Next up is kind of a shocker. It's Matt Riddle. Now you're asking yourself, why would I choose Matt Riddle to be world champion? It's simple. He's one of the few wrestlers that connects with a certain grouping. You know what I mean? He is talented. He's funny, and currently he is super over as with Randy Orton and RK Bro. Just over. 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 And with that knee he gave Roman on SmackDown, I could see a potential match happening, right? Because there's always guys who they give out those test championship runs to see just if they could work. Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, Jinder Mahal. And Matt Riddle would be in that grouping. But the question is, can he be on top? Can he hold on to that, sustain the pressure, and run with it? Because inevitably, right, he and Randy are going to break up, which honestly at this point I don't want to see them break up. That would suck, but they're going to break up, and it's a matter of who's going to turn on who, and they don't need to break up. But if they do break up, you have your catalyst that you find somehow, some way to get the championship onto Matt Riddle, and Randy becomes jealous. Because that's all Randy wants. That's all Randy desires. He and Edge are two sides of the same coin. Their desire to be on, not even to be on top, but the moment the world championship enters their purview, it's a wrap. And think about it. Randy's been in some tag teams. He's been tag team champion, but it's only been 2 times he's truly been in like a great tag team. This with Matt Riddle as RK Bro, and with Edge and Rated RKO. So that desire, you know what I mean? That burning urge to be on top, I think it will consume Randy. And the best way to do that is to get the title into Matt Riddle. And Riddle could just be oblivious to Randy. You know what I mean? Lastly, on Monday Night Raw, we have guy who got a title shot earlier this year, but they just completely dropped the storyline. That would be Seth Rollins. Seth is another dude that is like super duper over. He can be he as this crazy person, he should have gotten a championship match already. Not a championship. He's already got one, but he should have gotten another title ring. He never got one as Crazy Colt Seth, but he should really get one now. He can really do no wrong at this point. You know what I mean? He's working on another level right now. And it's like no matter what you give him, he can work with it. He can make it work. And it's just like, yo, give him the ball, let him run with it. Seth is good on the mic. He's good in the ring. And good is an understatement. He's fantastic on the mic. He's fantastic on the ring. He knows his characters and he knows what to do. And that storyline they had earlier this year with him and Roman was so good, but they just dropped it. Like it just didn't make sense for them to just drop it. Because, Brock's here, so we've got to move to Brock and Roman. And that's the worst part. And Seth is definitely not floundering with his feud with Cody, but it's time to truly pull the trigger for Seth. You know what I mean? He's in a league of his own right now. But that's it for Monday Night Raw. Let's take a quick detour to NXT. Our current NXT champion is, I believe it's Braun Breaker. And there's really only 2 or 3 people who should be the next NXT champion. Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, Santos Escobar. That's it. These 3 dudes, especially Cameron Grimes, should be champion. Period. They have it all. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm lying. They just do. And I can really see Carmelo being next in line for that title shot. He's got to get away from the North American Championship and move on up to the main event now. He's got to. Because what's going on with Braun and Joe Gacy is complete trash. On the Smackdown, we've got 4 people. And if you listen to the Friday Night Year last night, you know who I got as my top guy between both Raw and SmackDown of who should be champion. But first though, we've got Drew McIntyre. Here's why I picked Drew. Drew's had 2 reigns. He had that brief 1 month where they just put the belt on Randy. But here's why Drew should be champion. They've built him back up. They've redone him, and his reigns were during the pandemic era, during the Thunderdome. He didn't get to really perform in front of fans, but he was over. You know what I mean? He carried himself as a champion. He looks like a champion, and I think he can get a reprieve because of the pandemic. Give him another reign. Give him another chance to shine. And honestly, with Clash of the Castle coming up, I can see that happening. I could see him winning at Clash of the Castle, defeating Roman. So Roman has challengers: Seth, Cody, and now Drew. So the main reason I want Drew to get another reign is only because of the pandemic. It's just I want him to be able to perform in front of people, to hear those cheers. Next up is the former Walter, now Gunther. And they've got to build him back up. He spent some time in NXT, but he was dominant in NXT UK as Walter. We know this. And really the first exposure we got to him on the main roster was when NXT won their 1 year Survivor Series. And he was the first one to get eliminated. That's whack. He was the first one to get eliminated, and it was quick too. So now we have him on the main roster, building him back up, and they have to build him back up as the dominant person he used to be. Period. You can build him up to where when you put him across from Roman Reigns, Roman should be shook. Not shook, but have that shaking confidence that he has against Brock. Like, oh, I could just fuck around everybody, but Brock, Drew, Gunther. Woo! Woo! The Ring of General will give Roman a run for his money. And I think ultimately that's where the path should end for Gunther, is him as world champion. Next up, another guy who should have been world champion already, won the Royal Rumble, was a heel for a minute, which was just odd. But Shinsuke Nakamura, he's clearly happy and content right now. But they gave us a little tease with him and Roman Reigns. Was it enough? Like, if they fought now, Roman would win. You'd probably smash him. But I could take New Japan Shinsuke. You know what I mean? Just dominant. Just being the Shinsuke that we wanted when he was feuding with AJ Styles, and not this dude that was low blowing everybody. But the WWE constantly will tease you and then not give you what you really want, what you really need, what you're looking for. It sucks. Finally, number one. This guy is reaching Chris Jericho, Miz territory, meaning that he can lose matches, he can lose feuds, and it won't hurt him ever again. He's been given multiple gimmicks and has made them all work. He's currently feuding right now with someone, and I'm surprised he hasn't been champion. He actually was supposed to probably be champion one time already, but we'll get to that. And I'm talking about Happy Corbin. Underrated. Terribly, terribly, terribly underrated is Happy Corbin. And he really doesn't get the respect he deserves. He was the lone wolf, which I would say is probably has been his weakest gimmick. He's been the lone wolf. He's been Constable Corbin, which is where he was really, really, really hated. He's been bum-ass Baron Corbin, a.k.a. Down Bad Corbin, which has been my favorite gimmick of his. And now he's currently Happy Corbin. But as you can see, he's been given so much to work with, and he just makes it work. He is a former Money in the Bank winner, and he was probably supposed to win, but backstage politics stopped all of that, which was stupid. I don't think Corbin would get X-Pac heat, but he's been here long enough, he's been established long enough that he would get booed. and it would work. And it would feel right with him being champion. Give me a 6-month reign, no bullshit matches. Yeah, and you can even turn him face by making him bum ass Baron Corbin one more time, and then getting rich again, but this time appreciating his money and giving it to the fans. Either way could work. We've never seen him as a face, but I think him as a face would work. The guy is ready. He's got the move set. He's got the good enough mic skills. We're past the whole dog food shit with him and Roman. And Baron Corbin really should be WWE champion right now. He should be at the top of the list of guys like, okay, Roman's working less dates. Who do we need to step up? Who can we put our faith in? Who can we ultimately trust? That's Baron Corbin. Only one person has ever kicked out of his finisher because he just wins matches with it. And it's kind of like it kind of like when the NBA gave Kobe his MVP, or when the Academy gave Leonardo DiCaprio his Oscars. Like, you should have gotten this already, so we're doing it now. You know what I mean? And that's what him winning the WWE Championship would be. We probably should have gotten this already. We probably could have gave it to you right coming out of broke ass Corbin, bum ass Baron Corbin. But here, we're ready. We trust you. And I think it is time. And I don't think anybody would be upset about it. So there it is. That's primed and ready. WWE Championship. So one more time: AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Cody Rhodes, Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Baron Corbin from NXT, Carmelo Hayes, Santo Escobar, and Cameron Grimes to the moon. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Is there anyone else you think should be in line for a WWE Championship? I had a few other people who are honorable mention. Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory. I don't think there's anybody else over on SmackDown who I think is, actually no, Sammy. I think Sammy should get a reign. And KO, even though he's only had one more title reign in the main roster. But I digress. Let me know what you all think. Once again, thank you all for listening, and now on YouTube for watching. I appreciate it. Next week, we'll be looking at Faction Warfare, our new series. Just looking at some dominant factions, some horrible factions that worked, factions that didn't work. Where are they now? How did these guys and girls succeed coming out of the faction? Or did they just flounder? Check me out on my socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 spelled out on Twitter. And don't forget to check out Charismatic Cards. We'll be looking at coming up some previews and reviews of cards for our next adventure, our next Digimon sets, where we're finally introducing the dual color cards, and even the structure decks as well. So I can't wait to do that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you all. And as always, Wendy Chu, Xylee, Nikita Lyons, Lord, GD Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.